Well, good afternoon, New Hope Baptist Church family, and any of the friends who may be listening and watching here this afternoon. And welcome to episode number 23 of Midweek Meditations. And today's devotion, today's meditational thought coming to you for Tuesday, June the 9th. You know, today is a special day for me. You say, Brother Barry, why is it so special? It's Tuesday, right? Well, for my family, it's a special day. June the 9th is because not only is it the wedding anniversary for a couple of couples in our family, in addition to that, my grandmother, Laura Hazlett, were she to be alive today would be her 101st birthday. My grandmother, affectionately known by many of us in the family as Mammy, her name was Laura Hazlett, longtime believer, longtime faithful member of Emmanuel Baptist Church in Clifton Forge, Virginia, was born June the 9th, 1919. She was born a year after World War I ended. You know, my grandmother lived a full life into her 90s, and then she went home to be with the Lord, my mom's mom. And I tell you, she meant everything to me and our grandchildren, the other grandchildren in the family, and the Hazlett family. And the thing that's so special about my grandmother was, no, she wasn't a wealthy woman. She had enough to go to Long John Silver's. She had enough to go shopping at Walmart, take an occasional trip when she wanted to, but she wasn't a wealthy woman. It wasn't because she was famous or well-known, because she wasn't either one of those things other than being held in high renown in our family and being a faithful member of Emmanuel Baptist Church. She wasn't well-known, didn't have fame, didn't have any kind of notoriety to speak of. But my grandmother left a lasting legacy behind of faithfulness to the Lord. My grandmother loved the Lord. My mammy, she loved to read the Bible, loved to read books on the things of God, loved to watch sermons and messages. And up into her health, mentally and physically, kept her from doing so. She was faithful to the physical services of the church, actually being one of the older, if not the eldest person in the church when she passed away. My grandmother left a real legacy of faith to her children, to her grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And folks, it reminds you and I today, it reminds me today, and hopefully you as well, is what kind of a legacy are you leaving to those behind? If you have children, if you have grandchildren, what kind of a legacy, what are you leaving behind for them? Some people say, well, I'm leaving some money for them. I'm leaving an inheritance, and that has its place. And the Bible talks about a wise man leaving an inheritance for his children and children's children. But even more importantly than wealth or a portfolio or a 401k or retirement, what kind of a spiritual legacy are you building that you're leaving to your children and your grandchildren and beyond for generations to come? My grandmother left a legacy of faithfulness to the Lord. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 4, moreover, brethren, it's required in stewards that a man be found faithful. And my mammy was a faithful steward of the gospel of Jesus Christ. She lived what she believed. Her life backed up her lips, and she was a godly lady. And not only that, but she, not only a legacy of faith, but a legacy of finishing strong. You know, in 2 Timothy chapter 4, the Apostle Paul told Timothy, I have fought a good fight, I have kept the faith, I have finished my course. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of rejoicing in heaven, that the Lord the righteous judge will give to me, but not me only, but also all those that love his appearing. Paul finished strong. My mammy, although mentally and physically had gotten to the point where she was impaired, she still finished strong, and she loved the Lord, never denying the faith, never walking away from the faith of in the body of truth that's in Scripture. She left a legacy to me. She left a legacy to others in our family. She left the kind of legacy that one would be proud to leave to others behind. So today, as you think about your life and you think about what kind of a legacy you're building, is it one that is founded on spiritual vibrance? Is it one that's founded upon an example of Christ's likeness that others can see and follow? If not, today's the day to ask the Lord to help you to confess whatever worldliness, confess whatever apathy or indifference has been characteristic in your life, and ask the Lord to help you build that legacy of faith for your children, for your children's children, and for generations to come. That's the most wonderful thing that we can leave behind to those behind us. My mammy did that. I can do that, and so can you. Hope it'll be a help to you today as you think upon these words. Have a good evening.